Welcome to Genoa, everybody. We arrived not long ago. We just unpacked quickly, went to the supermarket, grabbed a few things, and we are now off exploring. It is almost 5 p.m. already, and we are so hungry. We only had a bit of food this morning in Milano.
It also rained for a bit here, but it's stopped now, so hopefully that will last.
What better way to start our time here in Genoa than with the most traditional food, the Focaccia Genovese. I'm so excited.
So,
Honestly, we've only been walking a bit from the train station here, but we already really like it. It's a very edgy city.
it's beautiful.
And the architecture is glorious.
Yeah, and a bit exotic as well.
Yeah. One thing that's very important for us is the fact that it's very pedestrian friendly so far. We've been walking all the time in all of our trips in Italy, and this town is no different, although it is more hilly.
Yeah.
It is a lot more hilly, so we'll probably get a good leg workout on the way. We incidentally walked past this absolutely, I've got no words, absolutely stunning church. Let's quickly see if we can go inside, because the interior, oh my God. We arrived at La Scuderia, which is this fantastic focacceria in central Genoa. And we got ourselves two different types of focaccia. It's late in the afternoon, so they don't have the bigger variety they have in the morning. We got normal focaccia with pesto genovese. Look at this green. I mean, this is incredible. And over here we have focaccia with cheese and pesto. We got some very, very affordable wine as well. So let's get going.
So, disclaimer, I'm very hungry and I'm very excited to try some focaccia.
I have to say, I've seen so much pesto tender,
So, yeah, so fresh.
but that green of the pesto.
Hands down,
What's
hands
better,
down.
the focaccia or the pesto?
Both. Hands down, the best focaccia ever. Oh my God.
It took one bite for you to say that sentence.
It's so crunchy and gooey and fresh and
That
so
is a-
flavorful.
That is a huge sentence. Best focaccia ever in one bite.
It's so
This is the normal focaccia with extra pesto. And in the morning they have focaccia with onions, they have focaccia with olives as well. And we have this one with cheese that we have to try.
It's very good, but this one's better. So I'll have this one, and you can have this one.
But you chose that one. What? I came in here wanting that.
You like this one? This is warm.
Listen, I like anything. It's fine, I'll jump on the grenade, I'll have that.
Go.
The things I do for love. Terrible? We got a refill, one more small piece of focaccia with pesto per person. The focaccia itself is 70 cents and the pesto was 1.3 euros together. So there's 2 euros for two pieces with pesto on top.
And it's heavenly.
Is it heavenly?
It's heavenly. It's like a bite of heaven.
So this one, you have it cold. The one with cheese was warm and melted. I think that we had 6 pieces of focaccia and 2 glasses of wine, and the whole thing is 10 euros. We were just saying how much this city, and especially these streets in this area, remind us of Venice. They're all so narrow and windy and bendy.
The buildings are very opulent. You can tell that the city had a lot of money back in the day.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very underrated. It's so beautiful.
It is very beautiful, honestly. It's just a different kind of beauty.
Yeah, it's a bit rougher.
We are now on our way to probably the most beautiful viewpoint in Genoa over the whole city. Let's see if we can catch sunset because it's finally a bit clear outside. There's no more clouds.
Another guy looking for the perfect lover, the kind of love you only see.
I think accidentally, incidentally, we found our favorite junction in the world.
It's so grand. It's amazing.
There's that huge arch over there with the statues and the
Big palm
amazing
tree.
vegetation. And then behind us, there's this other arch. Look at that.
I wasn't waiting for some shiny unicorn. I've nothing around and then you don't, but all of a sudden you.
We bought 2 tickets to go into the lift all the way up to the top.
I mean, they're bus tickets, so
Yeah,
hopefully they work.
no, online it did say it's the same as any public transportation.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 tickets, €2 each, and you can take the lift. And I think you can use it as many times as you want for 110 minutes, so it's almost 2 hours. We are getting into the Ascensore Castelletto.
Short elevator ride, and this view is amazing. You can see the seaside,
Oh yeah, you can. Wow, just noticed.
and those blocks of flats look like Hong Kong a bit.
They do actually.
And this looks like Milan/Rome a bit.
No, this looks like Rome. Behind us, you can see the huge harbor. Look at that. Look how big that is.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure if still, but this is one of Italy's
wow.
biggest harbors. And leaving aside the industrial role that it has and for commerce, it is one of the biggest harbors in Italy in terms of cruise ships.
Yeah, we wanted to take a short cruise ride as well to see dolphins in the wild.
We leave the day before they open, I think,
Yeah.
or something like that.
So sadly, yeah, we can't do that.
I mean-
but I would have loved to see the dolphins. Also, there's a huge aquarium in the city, but I'm not sure about the
Ethics.
ethics of it, so we won't go.
Celebrate the love in all its stormy glory. I still remember the way this whole thing started. I was walking down the city, feeling down and broken hearted. But then I guess all roads lead to Rome. A full front collision on my way home. I cut a corner, but down we hit and crash. The crash has been the first time.
We sat down at Calice, and it's got a beautiful view over the whole town. Loads of locals. I think we're the only ones who don't speak Italian here. Great sign. Everywhere I looked for aperitivo spots in Genoa, this always came up as one of the best ones. So far, a glass of wine, an aperol, they're all very affordable. We got a whole bunch of free snacks with.
Different kind of love from any other old school dating is the boat. We are explorers, it's a different kind of love, and everyone is looking like we crazy people.
So good. It's a very, very thin crust of a focaccia. You've now been in Genoa for a few hours. What do you think?
So far, the food's been amazing, and drinks as well, and so well priced, and very, very charming. I feel like the locals are very warm. It
Feels
has
very
an edge.
real.
Yeah, it has an edge to it. It's beautiful. I don't know.
We're just back here at the viewpoint, and we are admiring the harbor at night. It looks really beautiful.
There's a storm cloud in the distance, and there's lightning on and off, and it's really, really cool to see.
We are now leaving the aperitivo spot, Calice.
Very nice surprise.
One of my favorite aperitivo spots, probably ever in any Italian city, and we've had some really good ones
Yeah,
in
and we-
other cities as well, but this has been fantastic.
Yeah, and we got some nibbles, and they were amazing.
We have a reservation for a local restaurant.
Full, I can't eat anymore, but
I would have actually not even found this restaurant. It's right next to where we're staying. It's got really good reviews, and it was recommended to us by my friend Tiziano, who's Italian, who lives in Genova. And he said we have to go there, so we're going.
Because I knew when we hit and crashed, my crazy love circus was here at last. This is a romantic in a very funny way. I know our kind of love.
I'm not sure if this is dodgy
Or charming.
or charming, or if it's just classy, because it's just the two of us, it's private.
Someone singing opera.
Why not?
The way that you talk, the way that you move, you make fun of me while I make fun of you. But we always fit.
So I got the most traditional pasta dish in Genova, which is Trofie with pesto. And it's supposed to be, I've had Trofie before, it's a bit more meaty, I guess.
Chewy.
It's a bit more chewy. I like it, I really like it. And yeah, let's see. The pesto has a hint of lemon. It's really good. The pasta itself is so good and chewy. I love it.
Okay, so I got Stocafiso, which is a traditional Genovese dish. It's sort of a stew with codfish and tomatoes, olives, potatoes, pine nuts as well. So reading on the tradition of the Stocafiso, apparently it's a dish that came from Norway, and because Genoa was always a huge port back in the 15th century, they brought this recipe from Norway, and it's basically the way they air dry the cod and they make the stew. And technically I'm having a Norwegian dish that's now traditional Genovese in Genoa. This is very much a winter dish, and
Spring.
I feel all warm and fuzzy now after this, honestly.
A different kind of love.
So over the last few months, we've had so many comments of people saying we have to come to Genoa to have some food here because the food in Genoa is like nowhere else. And we always thought, well, like how good can it be? Turns out very good. So we have another 2 full days here in Genoa in this vlog. Then we have another vlog coming up.
Which is, yeah, exclusively a food vlog in Genova. I'm really excited.
So that's gonna be a full day of eating all the really good.
Local, really good food, yeah.
Our dinner was amazing. We're gonna have a glass of wine and go to sleep because tomorrow we're waking up early again. Good morning and welcome to Palazzo Reale. This is the royal palace from the 17th century of Genoa, and it's probably one of the most opulent spaces we've ever seen.
Yeah, but beautiful, especially that one room.
The one with the
mirrors.
mirrors. That's the actual name, the room with the mirrors and stuff. Loads of works of art from really famous painters. It's 12 euros a person to get in. It's only 2 euros if you're younger than 25, which we almost tricked them that we are.
And for the £12, you get another ticket to the other palace.
Yeah, we're gonna have free entrance now to one of the other palaces on Via Garibaldi, where we're going next. But for now, this is actually a really, really nice place to take a little bit of a morning stroll in.
It's a bit overcast today, so this is cozy vibes.
That was a good way to start our day here. It was about half an hour, I think. We're gonna walk now to Via Garibaldi, which is the main street with all the palazzos in Genoa, and maybe get some coffee on the way.
We are now on Via Garibaldi, which is a UNESCO World Heritage street. And this street is lined with palazzi, which are both Renaissance and Baroque architecture.
They were mostly built in the 16th century by Genoa's wealthiest families, and some of them look absolutely incredible.
We are at our last two palazzos. We are now at the Palazzo Bianco, which is most beautiful from the outside. It has this beautiful terrace here.
I am with child, by the way.
Yes, the locker was broken, so we could not place our backpack anywhere. So Hoya has to carry it like this so it doesn't knock anything down.
We paid €9 per person to get access into Palazzo Rosso, Palazzo Bianco, and Palazzo Tursi, I think. All of these palaces we've been to today are essentially museums. And whereas the first one is a bit more mixed, I feel these palaces here on Via Garibaldi are mainly art museums with paintings.
They mainly have paintings,
Yeah.
and beautiful frescoes.
As far as advice as to which one of the palaces you should see, I feel like doing all of them might be a bit much and it can be exhausting. You either choose the first two that we did, the Palazzo Reale and the Museo Nazionale, or these three here.
I would recommend the first two. They're more imposing, they're more impressive.
This is tiring.
Yeah, it is.
It's not easy.
Watching art is very tiring.
We're entering now the final one, the final palazzo. We arrived at Campo Pisano, which is a quieter area in the old town, and it's surrounded by these beautiful buildings, which are very colorful. It's basically a viewpoint. It used to be a shipyard, then a marketplace, and now it's just a spot that commemorates basically a burial site from the 13th century, where a whole lot of people were buried after a battle. It's got this really cool mosaic here in the middle, on theme about the battle. And it's possibly one of the most picturesque spots and most photographed spots in Genoa, for sure. part of the old town, so there's cobblestone streets everywhere.
And it's very walkable. There's no traffic, not really.
There's literally no cars around
Yeah,
here.
you can walk for hours in the city center without seeing any traffic.
We arrived here at Porta Soprana. These twin towers you see behind us are part of the old gate to the city of Genoa back in the 12th century. These are some of the oldest ruins in the town, and just look how imposing they are and how thick and tall these side walls used to be back then. This is absolutely enormous. Apparently you can actually pay a ticket and climb all the way to the top there and get some really good views of Genoa. We've completely out museumed ourselves today, so we're kind of done with that part for now. At the moment, just like so many other important landmarks in Italy, this is being refurbished. There's a few other landmarks around here. One of them is the house of someone that you've definitely heard of, but we'll get there in just a minute. One of the most famous people to have ever come from Genoa is Christopher Columbus. It is known that he was born here and grew up here. And this right here behind us is Casa di Colombo, and it's sort of informally known as the place where he grew up. There's no actual proof of him having lived in this house, but it's sort of believed.
Symbolic.
Yeah, it's a bit symbolic. It's believed to have been. Right now, it's a museum. It's a very modest house, really. It costs €5 to get in, and it's open every day if you want to come here and pay a visit. But this, Porta Soprana, and the cloisters you just saw before, they are all literally right next to the other one within 10 seconds.
Yeah.
We're now moving towards Piazza Ferrari, which is the main square of Genoa. When you're visiting Italy, it will happen every few days. Once it will happen that you want to go somewhere to eat that's advertised on Google Maps as open and it's not open. And then you go to another place that you find and that one says it's open, but again, it's not open. And you do this like 4 or 5 times. And at some point,
It's just wonderful, especially when you're very tired, to just walk around from one to the other and everything's closed. And it's a Saturday. I don't know why everything's closed.
I think right now it's a moment of the day on Saturday where everyone's just charging their batteries for tonight. Genoa is one of the most liveliest towns we've seen at night. I think nightlife here has to be amazing.
Yeah.
There's quite a few big universities, so there's a lot of young people here. So we ended up coming to Tire-Bouchon, which is this extremely popular spot. Not now, obviously, but we went past it last night and there were tens of people here. We're just having a drink because their kitchen is closed. So we found a focaccia place not far away. I'm gonna go alone, grab some focaccia and bring it here.
Yeah, I'll
they
wait
said
here.
it's fine if we eat it here, no worries. Goods acquired. There was not still a huge selection of stuff, but we did get some good things. We have a really nice looking pizza with salsiccia.
Okay.
And we have the last remaining bit
Oh,
of
this
the focaccia with chocolate.
okay.
This, she said it's Genovese, so maybe it's not. There's one more piece of focaccia with polenta,
Okay.
which again was the last piece, so
Yeah.
took it. Looked nice. And this whole loot of food, this was €7.
I wanted to say €7. Actually.
are in front of Cattedrale di San Lorenzo, the biggest cathedral here in Genoa. It does have some similarities with even the Duomo in Florence,
Yeah.
I think, or the one in Siena as well.
Siena, yeah.
So right now there's mass going on inside. We're 2 weeks just before Easter.
Yeah.
So I think this is quite a holy time.
Yeah.
We couldn't spend too much time inside because there's so many people in attendance. The few really interesting things about this huge church are the fact that it was built initially in the 12th century, and it does house at the moment the ashes of Saint John the Baptist, which is the patron saint of Genoa as well. And more interestingly and more recently, it was bombed heavily during the Second World War and shelled as well. And actually a big British bomb went through the roof of this cathedral and landed in the cathedral but without exploding. That's why at the moment you will see, if you come here, the ceiling is completely white, so it was redone, but it was not painted again as a fresco.
Probably in
It's just-
memory of the war
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah. Good morning. This is our final full day here in Genoa, and we came straight for coffee. This place looks really cool. We are at Tazze Pazze, which means crazy cups.
They have specialty coffee. We found a table outside. Yeah, I'm excited to try the cappuccino.
We are in this, oh, look at those tiny dachshund, two of them. We are in this really cool sort of small piazza. Really nice tables here outside with fairy lights. For now, we're gonna enjoy our coffee, and I will do it the traditional Genovese style. So in Genoa, you're supposed to buy yourself focaccia, the normal one, the salty one, and literally dip it in the cappuccino, which is a little bit odd, I will admit, but I kind of like the taste. Somehow the concept of salt and olive oil works with coffee. It's ridiculous, I know, but it does work.
Good focaccia?
Some of the best one we've had.
Really?
Okay, I think I sold this to Laura really well.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Is it-
try a tiny bit.
I'm telling you, it's not bad.
Okay,
Here goes nothing.
I don't get it.
But it's not bad.
It's not bad, but the focaccia is very good.
Yeah.
Short walk away from the coffee shop, we arrived at the port of Genoa, and right behind us is Palazzo San Giorgio, which is one of the most important and beautiful buildings in Genoa. Initially, this building was a bank, and then it became a prison, a very, very beautiful prison.
I have to say, one of the most beautiful prisons I've ever seen. Look at the mural here. This is absolutely insane.
The colors are fabulous.
So this was built in the 13th century, and it used to have a very famous tenant for a while. As it was a prison, Marco Polo was allegedly imprisoned here. He was captured by the Genoese in the war against the Venetians and brought here and spent quite a few years in this prison here. So this palace is located literally right next to Porto Antico here, this whole area. We're gonna walk around here for a bit. I can see there's a,
Sunday market?
sort of like a Sunday market here.
Yeah, and the port is very popular. A lot of people around.
What we do want to say as a bit of a caveat is, because we've been in this area now during the day, we've been here at, well,
Nighttime.
and we've also been here at nighttime. And I will say, if you are walking in the area at night, even though it's, very well lit, you do want to be a little bit careful. We did witness some crime,
Yeah.
and especially as a single woman or if you're walking alone, you really want to be careful and, you know.
And when we mean crime, someone's bag got stolen. So if you are a woman walking alone in this area, maybe try to avoid it or just take care of your belongings. Parts of Genoa can get a bit scary, I think, at nighttime, especially if you're alone.
Okay, that was a beautiful Sunday experience.
Very authentic.
The food was very traditional, what we got. Starting with the pasta,
Yes.
which were absolutely
Amazing.
delicious.
Amazing.
I think this is the best portion of pasta I've ever had that was creamy.
We also shared the fish with olives and cherry tomatoes and pine nuts, which was delicious, very meaty. Prices were really okay, and a lot of Italian families.
We were literally the only non-Italians.
Yeah, the place was very noisy, but in a good way.
So what I will say is that it's a good idea if you are in Italy on a Sunday to book a traditional osteria or trattoria for lunch. Sunday lunch is very much a ritual in Italy.
Yeah.
Song that I sing in the morning on a perfect holiday. You're like the warmth of the sun on my skin when clouds look gray. You're like the joy of a trip that's coming to a place with ocean view. You're like an old familiar friend when all is new. You like the sound of the raindrops drumming on a first summer day. You like the scent of coffee.
We made it to Boccadasse. This is Genoa's seaside neighborhood. It was a very easy journey, about a 15-20 minute bus ride.
Yeah, you can either take the train or the bus.
It's such a beautiful spot.
It's scorching hot all of a sudden. It's very hot.
I feel like the whole of Genoa is here now.
Yeah, a lot of people. It's a Sunday, so everyone's here and people are sunbathing. Some people are actually going into the water.
Loads of people sitting outside and having their drinks, their food, and just way more even literally on the beach and on the rocks adjacent to the beach. I can only imagine what this place looks like in
During
July
summer.
or
Yeah.
August.
It's a beautiful spot, so many colorful buildings. You have a beautiful view from up top.
It's the same sort of type of buildings that you would see in Portofino, in Cinque Terre, same sort of coloring.
I was very excited for my Aperol Spritz, my first one since coming here, I think.
Cool trick that we learned thanks to Laura is always ask for your Aperol Spritz with no ice. You would think that they would pour less, but they don't. They still fill the glass.
In my case, it's just because my throat is super sensitive. It wasn't like necessarily to get more pour.
No, that's just in my case.
Yes, yeah, but it's a cool hack.
So just for context, if you are in central Genoa, you can be here in 15-20 minutes with the train. Or if you keep going down the same way, another half an hour, you're in Portofino. And then for another half an hour, you're in Cinque Terre. So it's all down in the same direction. What a cool city to be in and have all this basically at your doorstep.
Yeah, so accessible, yeah.
Trip that's coming to a place with ocean view. You're like an old familiar friend when all is new. When all is new, you're like a song that I sing on the moon. On a perfect holiday, you're like the warmth of the sun on my skin. When clouds look gray, you're like the joy of a trip that is coming to a place with ocean view.
We came to Cantina di Colombo in the old town to have a bit of an aperitivo and a bit of food.
We wanted to come here yesterday, and even though it was open on Google Maps, it was actually closed. So, yay, we managed to find it open today. And the great thing is that even if you get like one glass of wine and one cocktail or whatever, they bring you food as well in the same payment.
Yeah, it feels like everywhere you go now, you get free food with the aperitivo.
Yeah, and the food is so good. In Genoa, I feel like the main consumers are the actual Genovese people, the locals, which says a lot for the quality of food.
Generally speaking, in Genoa, we haven't seen many foreign tourists. It's
Italian
usually
ones.
Italian tourists that come here.
Which is a great thing.
Yeah, that's a great sign. We are here for an early dinner because we want to go get some sleep. This is our final day here in Genoa. But tomorrow we have a super cool day trip planned for Cinque Terre.
And it's off season, so it won't be a lot of people there, hopefully.
Hello, welcome to our crib. I am still panting, very much so. I had to bring all this luggage 3 floors up on the tiniest staircase in the world. This is our small apartment here in Genoa. So what we have here is a big living room, the dining table, fridge, there's a coffee machine, dishwasher, and to our left here we have a decent sized bathroom. Very clean, there's a washing machine, shower. So we have 2 rooms as well, additionally to this one. This is just storage, and there's a desk if you want to do some work, which we'll actually end up using. And over here we have the bedroom, and the bedroom's okay, it's comfortable. I mean, listen, Genoa is not a luxurious town, and unless you're staying in one of the palazzos in the center, this is actually a very good option where we're staying. It's secure.
It's central, it's close to the station.
From the train station to here, it only took us, what, 5 minutes to get here with all that luggage?
And it's very quiet, there's no traffic.
And it's also very affordable. We only paid £60 per night, so that is about $80. Not bad, considering where it is and the fact that it's an apartment.
This is the end of our Genoa vlog. I personally think that the city is very underrated.
Yeah.
The food was amazing, some of the best we've ever had. The architecture is so amazing and the people are very welcoming.
This city definitely has so much to offer. Please don't just come here for the aquarium.
Yeah.
There's so much more to see and do and eat as well. We do hope that you guys can take some inspiration from our video here, and make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and we'll definitely see you in the next one.